Donald Trump is threatening to strike Canada again following a furious response by its Prime Minister to his move to impose tariffs on America's three biggest trading partners. Justin Trudeau launched a stunning attack on the US President, describing the 25% levies as dumb and accusing Washington of trying to cause the collapse of the Canadian economy. The Mexican president, meanwhile, says she'll lay out her country's response on Sunday, while Beijing says it's filed a complaint with the World Trade Organization against the United States over the decision to double previously imposed 10% levies. Let's take a listen.
The US is bent on using the fentanyl issue as an excuse to impose tariffs on Chinese products exported to the US again. China has repeatedly expressed its opposition to it. The countermeasures we took are completely necessary and legitimate to safeguard our own rights and interests.
I want to make it clear today that we will always seek a negotiated solution, as we have proposed within the framework of respect for our sovereignty. But the unilateral decision taken by the United States affects national and foreign companies operating in our country and affects our people. For this reason, we have decided to respond with tariff and non-tariff measures that I will announce in public next Sunday.
So today, the United States launched a trade war against Canada, their closest partner and ally, their closest friend. At the same time, they're talking about working positively with Russia, appeasing Vladimir Putin, a lying, murderous dictator.
Well, for more on the reaction in Canada, let's cross live now to Christopher Guly. He's our correspondent in Ottawa. Christopher, good to have you with us this evening. Strong words, as we heard there, from Justin Trudeau. He's warning Canadians to prepare for tough days ahead. And a stunning attack, really, though, also on Donald Trump. What has been the wider response there today to the imposition of these tariffs?
It was an unprecedented attack. It's a case of, I've not seen this before. The Trump-Zelensky meeting on Friday, many commentators were saying they've never seen anything like this before. Today, the same in terms of a Canadian Prime Minister's reaction to American President. Justin Trudeau did not call Donald Trump President Trump. He called him Donald throughout the news conference. In terms of reaction in Canada, it's universal. Opposition parties and the government are on one side, business labor groups. Everybody is united on this matter. You're seeing renewed nationalism. Each time Donald Trump makes a move against Canada, he ups the patriotism within the country. Where this goes, Trump threatened to retaliate against Canada's countermeasures. This can go on and on and on, but we're in a serious trade war. Canada and the U.S. has had trade disputes in the past, but never like this with the rhetoric.
And what exactly, though, is likely to happen, though? Because that is the big question. Donald Trump, a little earlier, threatening to retaliate again to Canada's retaliation. How concerned are people about how far this might go, Christopher?
Well, Donald Trump is a moving target, so what's his next step? You played the clip of the Chinese reaction to tariffs imposed on that country. Fentanyl has been always the issue and cross-border migration are the two issues he's used as an excuse to impose tariffs against Canada and Mexico. And the Prime Minister of Canada today talked about the fact that only 1% of fentanyl entering the U.S. from Canada and 1% of migrants entering from Canada to the U.S. So it's a false argument. I think everyone is focused on the fact that Donald Trump has talked about declaring economic war on Canada to hobble the country. And I think you can't not include the threats of the musings, the talk, the hopes of annexation with Canada. How far this goes, who knows? Right now, Canada's imposed tariffs on $155 billion worth of American goods in two phases, tackling key Republican states. And this is over a 21-day period. What happens later tonight? What happens tomorrow? Does Donald Trump increase the tariff level from 25 to 50%. He brought the tariff down for energy resources from Canada at 10%. Maybe he'll increase that to 25. But he's forgetting the impact on Americans. And Americans are going to feel it as much as Canadians.
And Christopher, it's very difficult to know how to respond with so much uncertainty, but how have people there been preparing for these tariffs? How have businesses been preparing?
Well, the Canadian government has given Canadian businesses 21 days to readjust to the new reality of tariffs. So that's why the first phase of 30 billion kicks in now, and then the balance of the for the 155 kicks in 21 days from now. But people, average Canadians, are buying Canadian. Their shopping habits have changed. Their travel plans have changed. But the fact of the matter is that the U.S. is Canada's largest trading partner, and the cross-border traffic is enormous on any given day between Canada and the U.S. So I think people are in shock. I think that they expected the Trump administration, wrongly as it turns out, that it would back down after it saw that Canada was moving to assuage some of the concerns from the Trump administration in the cross-border matter by cracking down on migration, by appointing a fentanyl czar to address pretty much a non-existing issue. So what happens now is anyone's guess. It could be any country tomorrow, or it could be amping up the volume against Canada, or something else. No one's talked about a military threat yet, but who's to say? I mean, this is Donald Trump.
This is Donald Trump. Christopher, thanks so much for that. That's France 24's Christopher Guly joining us live from Ottawa. Well, Trump is expected to